Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for trucks, obviously. On the lot.
He became steel resistant.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub. You're here with me, the host, Ivan Orlovic, and today I've got a guest with me, which will be very interesting. We met at the Converge Expo in Melbourne, and I thought we need to get this guy on to talk about his business, what they do. I have Jonathan Nykel here from the TDM Group Australia. Jonathan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ivan. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good. Glad to have you on here. I see you got the Drain Man top on there. Did you guys ever have a commercial? Like, I always feel like saying the Drain Man. Was there like some commercial or not? Nothing. Am I thinking of something else?
Absolutely. No, we still run that ad quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, it was in my head when I see that logo. It's just in my head always. Yeah.
This one's missing the mascot, who
Yeah.
you might have seen running around at the Port Arlington Mussel Festival or at the footy a few times. There's quite a few games where the mascot will get out there and do a couple of laps. So yeah, but no, you certainly would have heard of the ads on lots of 3AW and SEN and even the Tally as well.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more. So the TDM Group, you guys are split in a couple of sections. Maybe talk us through the TDM Group, what it is, and then we'll go from there, man. So tell us about TDM. What is it?
The TDM Group is the umbrella that encompasses the Drain Man, which is the founding company, TDM Pipeline Solutions, and TDM Traffic Management. So to give you a bit of a broad understanding, the Drain Man will look after anything from your business to consumer, mum and dad households, through to high-rise buildings, facilities. TDM Pipeline Solutions is more of your civil and government work. So major assets, major roads, water authorities, council, and then TDM Traffic, as the name suggests, is traffic management. So a lot of what we do is working on roadways and in places where you need traffic management. So it's born out of a necessity to use traffic management, and we can manage it ourselves.
Yeah, probably a good idea. I reckon, did that sort of stem from finding that you need to often have them? So you probably just thought, we might as well just get our own then instead of always hiring someone else. Is that sort of how it started?
Well, I guess you can line other people's pockets by employing traffic. But the benefit of having our own traffic crews is that when we need them, we're the first priority. So they're there ready to go. It allows us to be very reactive in that space as well, because we're not waiting on others, and also allows us to get your costs down too, instead of having third party subcontractors come in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Tell us a bit about yourself. So what do you actually do at the Drain Man or the TDM Group?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with the Drain Man specifically for a little over 12 years now. I came on as a plumber, and I was clearing drains and inspecting and relining them. And over the last sort of 5 years, I've moved away from that plumber-based role to more of a business development role. So my focus is speaking to facility managers, asset owners, property managers, anything in that sort of business-to-business space, and finding opportunities where we can connect and provide our services.
Yeah. So the Drain Man, if we talk about that one specifically, what do you actually do? So what are some of the services that you offer?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, we fix drains without having to dig them up. So what that allows us to do is use CCTV cameras to inspect drains and find breaks or defects without having to do any major excavation work. And then once we find those problems, we can solve them by relining the drain, whether it's long sections or short sections. We're essentially performing keyhole surgery on the drain. It's all about reducing or removing the need to dig to fix problems in drains.
Yeah, yeah. So what is that like when you say relining? Is that, for anyone that doesn't know, is that just basically pushing in like a smaller sleeve than what the actual pipe is, and then that sort of fixes any cracks or breaks? Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's a few different methods, but you're right. It's putting a slightly smaller sleeve into the drain. So what it does is we get it's a liner that is soaked in epoxy resin, and we use various different methods to pull that into the drain. So it's quite flexible before it sets. Epoxy resins are a liquid, and then they set within the fibers of that liner in place and seal the drain from the inside. So you're still maintaining that size of the drain because it's quite thin. It's only about 4 mil thick, but it's sealing completely. It's pushing all that epoxy into those breaks and holding it tight. It's kind of like a stent for
Yeah,
anyone who's familiar. Hopefully, you're not familiar with it because if you are, then we know someone who's had to go through it or go through it yourself. But it's essentially what we.
yeah, yeah. That's a good explanation, actually. Yeah. So what size pipes can you guys work with? Like, what are the smallest and the biggest that you can?
I'd say you can do any size, but um, typically from 40 mil and beyond. But if you have something that's odd, you might have a conduit or a box culvert. Some of those civil guys would be sitting there with trying to figure out how they can solve those because it's a little bit out of the ordinary. Any kind of pipe or drain or conduit for that matter, we'll come up with a solution. And it's very very rare that we would say that there's no way of fixing this. It's
Yeah.
there's always a way of fixing things. It's just a matter of figuring out how.
A quick shout out to our platinum sponsors, Earth Moving Warehouse, Melbourne Tractors, and TMC Cancela. Yeah, yeah. So what are the main benefits of doing a pipe relining rather than actually digging up the pipe and finding it? Like, why would people choose what you guys do over just digging it all up?
Well, I guess the first one is there's no digging. It removes the need for reinstating services. Perfect example is if you've got a drain that runs underneath a road and from one side to the other, and that could be a busy road. If you're going to dig that up, you're shutting down the street, doing an open cut trench, pulling out the old pipe, putting a new one in. So it removes a lot of that uh, disruption. It's using the strength of the liner and the hose pipe, if it's still intact enough, to help create that structure as well. The liners can be designed to be completely structural on their own if they need be, but in any case, it's still grabbing onto that existing pipe and using that to help support it even further. But the main one is your lack of disruption.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose there's also the safety aspect, yeah? Then you've got less safety issues to worry about, trenches collapsing in
Absolutely.
and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff
it
too.
removes. You hear about these trenches that collapse, and thank God it's not too often that we hear about it these days. But you step out of a shield, that can be the last step you take.
Yeah,
With relining, there's obviously safety concerns when it comes to deep manholes or deep pits, but you're removing those uncertainties of trench collapses, heavy objects. If you're doing a big 1050 stormwater drain and you're in the trench, it might be shields there still, but one of those chains break when they're lowering it in. It's pretty dangerous.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I've been in those situations within the shields, and then you're looking up and you're thinking, please don't
Right.
drop now. Yeah, don't. Yeah, so true, man. So true. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, the safety thing is there. I noticed while I was specifically at the Converge Expo, so that had like, an excavation section, then it had like the no dig section, and there was a lot of activity in the no dig bit. Do you feel like there's a bit of a change in the industry? Like you're obviously, did you say you were a plumber before this?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, like have you noticed, like since you started working in this sort of field, that there's a change in like a move from less excavating to more sort of no dig vac trucks, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Even over the last 5 years, it's becoming more and more common. and that's only going to continue. As you said before, the safety is a big thing, and coming from the top down for councils and major asset owners, where they can reduce safety risk, they will. So we're seeing more and more people getting into relining, PD work, anything that's trenchless as a means to stop digging. Certainly, obviously, there are situations where you still need to in industry as a whole, but as far as drain rehabilitation, I think it's going to move towards completely trenchless eventually.
Yeah, yeah. I think so, man. I'm hearing more and more. A lot of these, large contracting places, like even like Telstra or the Border Works and that, like they're apparently saying they prefer contractors not to do any excavation work. They'd rather have all vac trucks and everything
Yeah,
trenchless. Yeah, yeah. So
I'm sure the vac truck suppliers would be very happy to hear that.
yeah, they would, man.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. The vac trucks around all the MBM pits or the old Telstra pits that are made of asbestos. Yeah, it's just about reducing risk, making it safer, making sure everyone can go home.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. So we touched on a little bit of the type of customers you have. Yeah, who are your typical customers that you would be sort of servicing?
Yeah, so for the drain man, as I was saying, that's got property managers, building managers, facility managers, homeowners, to a degree, some civil contractors, depending on the size of the drain. And our pipeline solutions business is dealing with your major civil companies, and some of the smaller ones too. A lot of your governments, contractors, councils. So a lot of that work is, you touched on the hydro excavation. We'll go around using high pressure water and back trucks to clean a lot of these assets, pulling a lot of that waste out of the drain and then removing it with the back truck. Or in instances where we need to move quick, we might use some of those back trucks to expose certain problems as well. You know, it can be really good, obviously for proving services, but if there's something that's quite small that we can resolve quickly by doing a quick back dig, then we might do that also.
Yeah. So I take it, do you guys do a lot of like urgent or emergency works? Is that sort of
Yeah,
a big part
absolutely.
of your business?
Yep. So reactive. When you talk about block drains, reactive has to come into the conversation. And a sewer or stormwater drain. Stormwater you can predict to a degree because we've got the weather radars and things like that. But sewer, it blocks when it wants to block,
Yeah.
and you got to be available to sort it. So we're not a 20 business, um, but we are situated so that we can react when things go wrong.
Yeah. So if I'm Oh, you got the capacity. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, so how many like employees do you guys have, and how big is this? Like, do you service only like parts of Australia or the whole lot? Like, how does it work?
So in Victoria, we're around the 80 to 90, including all three businesses. Our drainman side, we have utes dedicated for clearing drains up to 225 and relining up to 150. And they're spread out all across Melbourne. So we'll do regional as well. Regional, we need to try and be proactive where we can. As a whole, we're very reactive in that space. We're also up in New South Wales as well. We're on the Central Coast. So we've got another crew up there of 20. We've got we've got 3 combo units up there, for our pipeline solutions side, and then another 8 drainman utes that are running around doing 100 and 150 drains.
Yeah. And are you guys like looking at expanding, or do you like see in the future moving into other states?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're Melbourne-based business. We moved up to New South Wales about, I think it was about 7 years ago. And they'll continue to grow. We're in the process of working with more and more different ranges of clients across both states. And as opportunities arise, we'll look at them. And yeah, we're continuing to grow at a good rate.
Yeah, yeah. And are all your like, is everyone that works for you a qualified plumber, or is it just like a different range of people?
Yeah, well, in the drayman, we're working on predominantly business to consumer sites where you've got to be a plumber because it's all self-certified plumbing as a whole. But when you start moving into those civil assets, it's a different game. So the asset owner is the one that's signing off on that work. So in that space, it's very specific as well, the kind of work we do.
Yeah,
So we've got skilled labour doing a lot of that work. Um, and then across the drain mill, obviously we need to use plumbers for that. That's part of the rules. And then obviously traffic management. They're not plumbers.
yeah, yeah.
They're not
That's right.
plumbers. They're traffic management operators.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. All right. What sort of equipment do you guys have? Like we were talking about vac trucks before and cameras and that. Like, what sort of equipment do you typically have
We've got
for
some
your
pretty
fleet?
cool stuff. Yeah, especially if you haven't seen it before, it can really blow your mind if you like tools and equipment. Yeah, we've got robotic cutters which can drive half a kilometre through a pipe and have very similar controls to a digger, where you've got an arm that's lifting up and moving around using high pressure air to grind out problems in the drain. So it's literally like having an angle grinder on steroids in the drain, robotically controlled. So if you've got exposed rego, a common one in stormwater drains is when the drain's laid, they'll belt a hole into the drain and bend out the reo and drop the connection in. That's just how they did it back in the day.
Yeah,
So a lot of that reo ends up pointing down into the pipe. And if we're trying to reline it, well, we need to cut that back. So we can cut things like that back. These really thick tap roots coming off trees as well. We can cut those back. We've got recycler units, which allow us to travel to a job. If we're going to a block sewer, for example, we can use that sewage that's inside the drain to clear it. Or if we're remote, we can throw the vac hose into a dam and suck up water, kind of like a firefighter. Use that
yeah,
water to clean the drain. So it allows us to be really cost effective. Because the biggest cost that comes in when you're doing a lot of that drain clearing work is having to go off site to get water. So we're able to
yeah.
keep using that water over and over again. We've got NDD units that just dig. We've got the combination units which don't recycle the water but allow us to do digging and jetting. We've got milling equipment that can descale drains in high-rise buildings or any pipe for that matter. We've got a range of camera equipment as well, so we can all those pipes that we were talking about before, the 40 mm pipes, we've got cameras small enough to go into those, all the way up to 2.5 metre drain, and inspect it sufficiently. What else have we got? We've got a range of different lining equipment. When it comes to lining, it's about what you're curing your liner with. You can use air, hot water, steam, UV. So we've got two UV units, which is it's a train, so a light train essentially, and that drives itself through a liner and uses a UV light to cure that liner.
Crazy. So what is it, like a
Yeah,
little remote control vehicle thing? Is it something like that with that sort of travels down the
it's
pipe?
pretty big. Yeah, so it all fits into the back of the Pantech, because there's compressors that help keep that liner open. Because until the UV lights have touched the resin, or shone their light on it, that liner is capable of falling back in. So we need to keep that liner open with air, and then obviously the power to power those lights as well. There's a lot of computer power behind it as well, because you can't just put the lights in there and hope for the best. Depending on the size and thickness, it calculates how fast it needs to move through that pipe, how long it needs to sit there for all the brightness. There's a lot that goes into doing it. A lot of it is the setup. Doing the jobs usually a quick part.
Yeah,
setup.
yeah. Yeah, tell us about that. So what are some of the I was gonna say tell us some of the setups and that what's involved. I mean, obviously it's not just like get a phone call, just turn up to the site and start working. What's involved in the background? Like what else do you guys have to do?
Yeah, well, certainly there are situations like that where clients got an emergency that's happened. We'll occasionally get calls from water authorities who need something to happen then and there because the problem's unearthed itself, and you just got to respond, and it's usually you need to start that process and do it a lot quicker. In an ideal world, we'll get a phone call saying that there's an inkling of an issue, and the first part of that is getting a camera in the drain, working out what's going on. Once we've worked that out, we can then clear the drain. Use that CCTV footage after clearing the drain to then give your client a proposal to whether it be a complete rehabilitation or whether it be a series of seals. It all depends on the layout of the drain, size of the drain, lots of different factors there. We've got a team in our office here that will deal with the scheduling of all different aspects. So there's a team that deal with our business to consumer and business to business scheduling, and then for our larger diameter drains, there's another team that will manage that as well. There's a lot of moving parts to make sure that we can get there and make it. It's not
Yeah.
just a case of we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Well, even the traffic management part, I suppose you've got all the traffic management planning and all these other things that go on in that segment as well. So you've got a few parts that
Yeah, and
got to work with.
working closely with them as well. They got to understand what we do. It's learning for us. The contractor who fixes the problem
Yeah.
and understanding traffic in more detail, and for them too to understand what our requirements are so that we can get the job done. So it's really good. We really nailed that part. So
Yeah.
they're thinking about the things that we're thinking about as well, and vice versa.
Yeah. I imagine also when we talk about what happens in the background that there'd be a lot of paperwork as well. Like I know I did a little bit of work with Telstra and there was so much red tape and so many bits of paperwork you had to do before you could even start the job. I imagine you'd have sort of similar things, yeah?
Yeah, well, we've minimised that as much as we can. It's all digital now. I think the only physical paperwork we really do is there might be a couple of subcontractors that we use that get us to sign things, because they're operating off paper. But we manage all our jobs online through different job management softwares. So that allows us to keep all our forms in track. You've got your JSA, your SWIMs, and any plans, anything that's got to get signed, it's all done on there. So it makes it all a lot simpler. And then everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, you can be over at no dig where we caught up in another country and see what's going on.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot simpler.
Hey, did you know that Earthworks Hub is more than just a podcast? On our website, you can advertise your business in the directory, see the latest news, and get discounts from our partners. You can also become a member on our Patreon, where you'll enjoy podcasts with video, exclusive content, and behind the scenes, webinars, and chat with other members in the forums. For more info, go to www.earthworkshub.com.au. Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask you while I was there. I saw this company had, I think it was a camera, or I don't think it was a repair tool, but it was a camera that could go in the pipes, and then it could actually turn in the pipes and go up pipes, and it could turn itself and do all these things. Do you guys use something like that? Is that robot you were talking about at the start? Can it actually like turn in pipes and go up as well?
I think I know the one you're talking about. And it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
When it's fully released. Currently what we use and what the industry uses is like a tractor style camera. So it
Yeah.
drives through the drain, doesn't necessarily negotiate the changes of direction the same way. You still got a bit of control there, but probably a couple of different uses at this stage. We've
Yeah.
also got a lot of the push rod cameras as well that allow us to inspect around bends and through traps and things like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go, man. There you go. Yeah, I think I just always wondered like how big this is going to get, because I think like we were talking about earlier, people are just going to be doing less and less digging, and it's going to be all relining and trying to do things without having to dig. So yeah, I think it's a good space to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's changing monthly, I'd say. But, you've got the introduction of AI, which is changing daily, and that's going to infiltrate the space pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Well,
It's going to change all of the things that we do, isn't it? Really,
it
but
will, man. It will. Yeah.
it's going to.
That was going to be one of my questions actually. Yeah. How's AI going to affect you guys? Yeah. There you go. So
We're using it to help speed things up. It's very, very good to do quick desktop reviews.
yeah.
You can you can you can use it to speed things up. I can't say it take me anyone's jobs a few times doing what we do, but I think it's just a matter of using it where it can speed things up, so you can spend the time doing not more important things, but
Yeah.
more hands-on things.
Yeah, yeah. And what about with your employees and that? Do you have to like put them through some type of training or anything when they start with you guys? Like, do you have your own little internal trainings, and then how do you keep everybody like up to date?
Yeah. So we've got a set of crew that go around making sure everyone's following our procedures, because they do change from time to time. So we do a lot of internal auditing. We don't just bring people on and send them out to do a job. We generally have them with another crew for about 6 months at a minimum, where they're learning our processes. Because even if they've come from the industry, there's that others have that we don't necessarily want, but it also gives us time to then say, well, how do you think about things? Get your input, because as much as we're confident with our approach, we're always learning, and when someone comes in and hasn't seen what we do, they might see something different. If you're always open to learning things, you can learn it off anyone. So
Yeah,
they'll come in, they'll learn our process. We'll teach them, and we'll keep guiding them. We'll have weekly sessions in our office where different crews come in at different times and discuss jobs that are been challenging or may not have gone to plan, or jobs that have gone really well, and it will share those wins amongst the others. So it's a real good environment to be able to learn and ask questions as well. So it's all about constant improvement, constant development, keeping everyone in the loop, not just segregating people and then distributing information that they may or may not read. Let's get behind each other and get
yeah.
better.
That's it, man. That's it. It's about improving. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about? Do you see any like changes? Do you think anything's going to change in our industry? Like we spoke about it a little bit earlier. Do you think can you foresee any big changes or anything like that for the industry?
I think the biggest change that we're going to see is just the growth of the space. I think it's going to become increasingly the furthest point of repair will be trenchless. And I think education is going to be the biggest player in that, because
Yeah,
there's asset owners all across the country who still think that the only way to fix something is by digging it up and ripping it out. And I think even a lot of guys who are digging holes will probably agree that digging a deep hole and pulling out a broken drain on a live sewer, or a stormwater drain that's been leaking for the last 30 years and eroding away all that earth is it becomes a bit crazy. We've got
yeah,
other ways to do it there. So I think education will get bigger and bigger. The mindset will shift, and we'll start seeing a lot more trenchless, a lot more.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right, man. I think you're right. So if I'm just a household, a resident that lives somewhere, can I feel like my drains are blocked? Can I call the drain man? Do I just pick up the phone and call the drain man, or is that um not how it sort of works? Like, what's the go there?
So you hit the nail on the head. So
Yeah,
the drain man specifically our first point of contact in our office, our customer loyalty team, they'll be able to help gauge what's going on and best schedule a plumber to come. And the plumbers are then trained to work out as quick as possible where the issue is. Sometimes it's not always inside the property boundary as well. Sometimes it's outside the property boundary and fluffing around trying to fix something if you don't know if it's even in the property. So we'll work that out as quick as we can. Sometimes access can extend that process, I'll say. But from that point, our plumbers are trained to get the job cleared and flowing, make sure everything's safe, and then provide a long-term solution. 9 times out of 10, there's a broken drain, through it's going in. There's usually some form of physical defect that's caused a blockage, and relining in most cases will resolve that. So we won't leave a job and say, we'll find a way, and we certainly won't leave a job without providing the next step to prevent it from happening again. Now, we're not about going clearing a drain 18 times over a couple of years, because there's no benefit for us to just keep doing that. We want drains to be fixed for good, so that they don't have to keep on getting us back to clearing. Which seems a little bit crazy, but it's about giving the client the best possible solution. If a drain's broken and it's deep or underneath concrete, or they love their garden and don't disturb it, well, let's reline it so you don't have to keep calling us back here. It's done.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any times where, relining is not the option and you say, look, you know what, it's not worth relining this. We're going to have to just dig it all up and start again? Like, is there any times where you have to say that and say, look, it's just not going to work?
Look, I think the situations where that happens, we don't come across them too often. As an example, you might have a really block that's got good fall to it, and you might have a stormwater drain that's 200 mil beneath the surface, and it's got 3 roots going in one spot. We could dig that up and fix it pretty quickly. If it's something that you can jump on the shovel, couple of shovel loads deep, dig it out, sandy area, even better.
Yeah, easy.
But, yeah.
So you do offer that too, yeah? Like, is there times where you don't actually reline, you just actually replace the pipe as well?
Yeah, it's few and far between. More often than not, the jobs that we come across are ones that we can clear and line. But if it's something that we can get done while we're there, absolutely. It's about what's the best solution for the client.
Yeah.
I think if you go down the path of trying to do the best solution for you, then you're not going to have people wanting to use your service or recommend you. If you're looking out for your client and you're always doing that, you can't really go wrong. We've got what do you call it? I wouldn't call it a motto, but the pillars that we like to live by, which is do the right thing, show that you care, and do the best that you can. And if you follow those, kind of, you're set, aren't you?
Yeah, the 3 pillars. I like that. I'll have to use it. I'll have to pinch it. Yeah. I was going to ask you about like warranty or lifespan. If you reline someone's pipes, what sort of warranty do you give, or what's the lifespan of that lining in the pipe?
So in the drainman space, anything inside the property, you're looking at 50-year life expectancy on the designer product. So we offer a 50-year warranty on our lining. Outside the property, it's a little bit different because of how the assets manage. Typically, asset owners are looking for a minimum 50-year life expectancy or design life.
Wow, that's still a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they suggest that any pipe that you put in the ground, PVC or whatever it might be, has to have a 50-year design life as well.
Oh.
So it sort of opens up the question: if you're living in a property or got assets that are more than 50 years old, well, they're probably due to be renewed, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. I didn't even know that. That's true. Yeah. Some people have had houses, or they've bought a house that's already 30, 40 years old and lived in it for 20 years. So that means the house is probably 70 years old, 80 years old. And then, yeah, how good are the pipes, and yeah, you got to wonder sometimes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And look, a quick CCTV inspection tells you what's going on. The camera doesn't lie. So if you're concerned, or if gurgling, for example, people just think it's normal, which I never quite got until people start talking about it. But no, it's not. So if you're hearing that kind of stuff, there's probably a problem going on.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That is true. Have you got anything that you wanted to talk about? Have I missed something or not asked any questions, like any topics?
I think I think we're coming off on everything we do. It's about being proactive where we can, following that process. The camera tells us what's going on, it proves exactly what's happening in the drain, and not walking away without giving the client a solution. They're the big ones.
That's it. That's it. And if anyone does want to find out more about the Drain Man or the TDM Group, what's the best way to find you guys?
The quickest one's jump on our website. It's www.thedrainman.com.au, and that will lead you through to all of our businesses. Or get on the phone. We've got people here who can talk to anyone during normal business hours. So it's 1-800-843-372 or 1-800 the drain mill. But I don't think anyone uses that anymore.
Yeah, the Drain
You remember
Man.
that?
Yeah,
You said type it on your phone and you look at the letters. So, but that's where
yes,
they go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some
look,
people still do. You'd be surprised. Yeah, some still do it. Yeah,
there'd be some out there. But look,
yeah.
jump on the website, shoot us an email. There's a form online that you can shoot through, and it'll get through to the right person. We'll get it sorted.
Awesome. That's good, man. That's good. Thank you very much. Look, I think, a lot of information there. And yeah, looking at the future from what we've been saying, it seems like non-digging or trenchless digging is going to be or trenchless work, whatever you want to call it, is going to be what everyone just naturally does. And a lot of these big stakeholders are going to probably want that. So I'm sure the Drain Man will just continue to expand.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's it, man. That's it. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us. I'll put your details in the description on this podcast. So if anyone does want to get in touch, they can easily find you.
Thanks for having me,
Thank you.
Ivan. Appreciate coming on and answering some questions.
No worries, man. Thank you. Thanks for jumping on. To everyone that's listening, thank you once again for joining us. Make sure you join us for all the other podcasts. Don't forget, we do a live session on Instagram every Sunday, 8 p.m, so you can join us there and actually ask questions and that live. Also, follow Earthworks Hub on all the social platforms, and you can also go on our website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, and that'll give you the links to all those socials. Plus, you'll have business listings, job listings. There's also a marketplace on there, events, everything. So you can find it all on there, and obviously all our partners and all our sponsors also. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care, Jonathan.
Thanks, Ivan. See you, mate.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For tracks, obviously. On the lot.
It became steel resistant.